Welcome to my special event today at Samish in little old Adelaide and the launch of my book, Start With Your Own Onion. Here I am in the kitchen, always busy and putting on a show, being the centre of attention. And these are my beautiful friends and family. And look, there is my produce. I really think that it's an extraordinary thing to have all your good friends. I never thought I'd be here. 27 years ago, I had 6 months to live.
I was just looking at that.
Here I am. I'm going to guess away. Welcome. Thank you all for coming, by the way, and welcome to Samish. It's rare that I get an opportunity to be so commanding of a crowd, but I'd like to involve you all in a demonstration of what being a young person was like in a certain era. If everybody in this room is the sum total of everyone I know, I'd like to draw an imaginary line, probably down there. So a small group and a larger group. Just imagine you are all, everyone I encountered in a 5 to 6 year period who is still alive. Some of you are living with addictions, mental health issues like post-traumatic stress. You come from a variety of lifestyles, from the very well-educated to the not so. You are or were the carers of those infected with the virus, whether professionally or not. You witnessed a war, a devastating war, as if there's any other kind. So many young men gone. A little wedge here. This group have come along, and whether through a heterosexual situation or somehow not engaging into community, did not see the war. Nothing. Some of you maybe saw a bit, but ran at any opportunity and put it out of your head as soon as you could. The next group are the ones that acknowledge the history, maybe still volunteer or work in the area, donate, remember the significance of December the 1st. So I bring my attention to this larger group. This extraordinary, loving, talented, whimsical, magical, politically righteously angry, compassionate group. You're all dead. You died taking experimental drugs, using experimental treatments, succumbing to the side effects of the experimental drugs, being denied medical attention, ostracized from family partners robbed by these families. I am alive today, as many people, because of the actions of others that went before me, and I honour you all. My heart weeps that you all never got to see, that some of us survived. I was supposed to be part of you. I was never supposed to be here. I've lived longer with the bug than without. Who the hell would have thought that I would be a 55-year-old queen? Mum and Dad, this is dedicated to you and your children and their children. You set the bar against all the indoctrination you had. Still, your children come first. As did the men you became surrogate parents for in those dark days of St. Francis House. All who died, all who felt your love. Thank you for never taking me to conversion therapy or any other gruesome procedure. Thank you for the love. And now it's time for a little musical interlude. The lovely Sparky and Low. Here I am signing my book away. I'd never signed my name so many times, had my photo taken. All sorts of people there. There was an overwhelming wave of love in the room, and you could just feel the love. and it was all above the belt sort of love. And of course I needed somebody actually to launch the book. And who better to launch the book than the extraordinary Dr. Liz Coates, who set up the HIV dental response in South Australia. And here's Liz.
In November 2019, I received an email from Greg asking if I would open the night, at that stage it was a night, at the launch of his book, Start With Your Own Onion. And I was deeply honoured to have been considered for this task, and I thought I should be able to fulfil such a request relatively easily. A couple of months later, I received updates on the launch and also a copy of the remaining chapters. So I started reading, and I came to the realisation that this opening speech might be a bit harder than I thought. So, firstly, I came across this passage in the book, and I quote from page 260, "I just love when people put a bit of thought into a letter, reply or speech. It helps cement the event and adds to the occasion. Too often I find people don't have enough practice at speaking off the cuff or with a prepared speech." Great. Then, on page 139, an interesting fact. Suzanne, Tony and Mitchell, who all did rather crappy things, were all born on August the 14th. They taught me many life lessons about what sort of behaviour I will accept from others. I only know of one other person also born on that day who had none of those attributes. That's our gorgeous Aunt Norma. So, here I am, born on August the 14th, hopefully fitting somewhere in between the spectrum of crappy and gorgeous, and praying to a God I don't believe in, to deliver a speech worthy of cementing this auspicious occasion. It is truly an honour to be asked here today for Greg's book launch. You will, and I've noticed that you are, all buying this book before you leave, and plus if you're clever, and I've noticed you are clever, you will also buy lots of the goodies that Greg has prepared. And then when you get home and start to read this book, you will enter a pathway that will take your mind and your heart into the past, when being gay at school meant bullying, when coming out to your parents was a momentous event, when HIV dominated the gay scene, and AIDS deprived us of many young talented people, and some not so young but famous people. You will be confronted with one of the many absolute gems in this book, a recipe. For those of you who do not know, Greg is not just an author, but he is a celebrated chef. He kept a notebook filled not just with his recipes, but also with those of his mum, Nana Young, Ivana and Susie, to name just a few. So here's a book that tells the story of a journey that has taken remarkable courage. People used to ask why I worked in the sector of HIV, and my reply was that it was such a privilege to know people of such courage, who showed such humour in a so not funny situation. To know people who truly valued life and had to fight for it. If you don't want to follow the story, which is mostly entertaining and at times very confronting, then buy it for the recipes. Damn, they're good. And at least you won't be accused of stealing it like the scumbags in the story. Greg, you've done an amazing job in telling this story, and no speech could ever do this book justice, to be quite honest. I congratulate you, and for everyone here, it is time to start with your own onion.
Thank you, Dr. Liz. What a joy, a true world leader in HIV dentistry and health. Thank you, everyone, for coming on the day. Thanks to Liza, Kim, everyone for the help in setting it all up. if you weren't there, I do hope this little vid gives you an insight into the day. And just don't forget, buy the book.